we are talking about the psychological creature feature horror movie, The Rake. This one directed by Tony Wash. Now, the story here is initially about these brother and sister, and they are witness to something potentially supernatural when they are younger, and it has affected them in their adult lives. So obviously the bulk of this story takes place in their adult lives, and we have this kind of get together of friends and family, and both the brother and sister are harbouring, obviously, they witnessed the death of their mother when they were younger by something, and they have both been affected. Now, it could be something genuinely supernatural that has maybe infected them and is kind of simmering under the surface, like some kind of strange paranormal virus, or it simply could be psychological troubles, in which obviously a lot of the people kind of put it down to. So the actual antagonist of this movie is quite unique in the fact that you never really know, well, maybe not until the end, about what's actually kind of going on, and the way it kind of presents itself, it's fairly unique, I would say, in regards to how it might actually be affecting these people and stuff like that. So it definitely has quite an interesting kind of setup for a kind of a creature, a protagonist, a kind of a monster that seems to be this clawed creature that, you know, rips people to shreds ultimately, but is never to be seen whenever anyone else kind of sees it. So without trying to give away spoilers here, it's quite a fun setup. So basically, what do we think of this movie? I actually fairly enjoyed it, I've got to say. I thought it was quite a neat setup. The actual, when we see creatures, creatures itself, it looks suitably kind of gooey and slimy, and I quite like the design here. You don't see loads of it on screen, but I've got to say it was enough to kind of like satisfy most creature feature fans. I mean, there's some kind of like critiques you could have about how would that realistically work when we could have see the physics of things, let me just say, but nonetheless we've just got to kind of accept this. But yeah, it maybe is a little bit, sort of gets a bit silly at times. I've got to say, if I had to have some criticisms here, it was some of the character work from the actual people of this party. I was just a little bit confused as to their relations and kind of where they are in regards to, you know, each other's relationships. I didn't think they were particularly kind of well sort of fleshed out. And there seems to be people who are thinking, hang on a second, is this a third sister or is this someone else? It's not really kind of explicitly kind of developed enough so you kind of really understand how these people were kind of together and what their relationships are to each other. So that was a little bit disappointing. The movie is a little bit slow at times. But I've got to say, I actually quite liked the attempt to have maybe a slightly different kind of mixing both creature feature and sort of psychological horror into one, and never really kind of like your characters in this movie never really knowing what it really is, whether it is something internal or if there is this kind of like, is this real supernatural force that is kind of like creating this kind of havoc. So I kind of liked it, but it's not a classic. You know, you'll watch this and you'll maybe enjoy it, but you probably won't be inclined to watch it again afterwards, I wouldn't say. So I would say it is worth a watch once, although it's by no means a classic. Some of the kind of character work here is a little poor, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me comments, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.